are universities which attended our conference. Well, there are about 180 UK universities. We try to select the universities which we believe that we hope that our new students come and join these rather than 180 universities. So we selected about 60 or 60, this is 43. Overall, there were 61 universities. We invited them. The number of universities which attended our first conference is 43 university, which took place in 6th of June, just about 6 months ago. And because of some of universities couldn't attend the first one, we started, or we held the second one, which took place in 28th of June, and 13 universities, including some Irish universities. And the third one, again in July, some universities which couldn't attend the first and second one, and we are on the third conference for cooperation with the UK universities. I leave this part for my colleague to explain the processing, the information form, and the way we work in getting the initial offer and final offer.
We have to understand all the requests and the situation in Iraq, and the same thing, we have to understand how you see things, how you expect things. It's not all about money, although money is important. We know your role as most of you international officers. You deal with academics, and academics sometimes are difficult to get what you want from them, to match the marketing and the expectations. And we are our office and you on the same boat. I mentioned this, I think, to all of you. On the same boat, you have expectations from your managers, and you have expectations from our ministry, and we have to match the expectations. So we have to introduce the IPSS scheme. And to start with the Iraqi side, we have to introduce the information form to collect the information, the basic information that the universities will require to show their initial interest. Is this student welcome to apply in this university? We'll go after these slides to more details about a review of the IPSS project over the last 6-7 months. I'm sure you have plenty of questions, or you want to share with us your experience, your feedback, and we would like to hear this today as well. And we will tell you what also from our side what we have seen. So what you see here is the information form that we introduced. It's basic information. As we mentioned this before, we don't have the capacity to bring a standard ultimate application form that you expect to see in the online application system, all the reference letters and CV and all these details. What we could do, and this is our best here, is a basic form with the bachelor degree, the master level, and the expected, the potential PhD area where the student is interested to work on. If I just explain one thing more about this slide here, is since May till now, till the 30th of November, we received 1,140 applications. That's all for PhD, and that's all to study in the UK. So we have a high number and different disciplines. They are not all in one particular field, they are all disciplines. And as we'll show you later, the number of Iraqi students in Scottish universities, and then the applications we sent you. So you will see the difference, what we have now, what we want to work with you to get these numbers. So that's the total number, it's 1,140 applications. And as we had here, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly here, it's all the disciplines that we require. It means the 1,140 applicants, they are in all these disciplines. So you can see almost everything that you are good at and everything you get in universities we need, because the objectives of the IPSS project is to bridge the gap in knowledge and in technology and in all fields of study in Iraq, in the higher education sector in Iraq. names of Iraqi universities. If I just mention one thing about the nomination process, how it works from Iraq, you need to know the procedure from the Iraqi side as well. So I am a student in Baghdad University. I want to get a PhD. I got a master already. And by the way, those who got masters in Iraq, they are very good students. They are the top 5 or top 10 in their fields. So they are good. So they have master, and master holders, they can teach in Iraqi universities. So some of them, they are already lecturers in Iraqi universities. So when the IPSS program introduced, what they have to do, they have to write a proposal, a PhD proposal. And this proposal goes to the head of department. And head of department, if I just may start one step before this, as Mr. Ahmed mentioned, the phase 1 scholarships in 2006, 2007, it was central management, it was the nomination done by the ministry. Now for phase 2, now it's distributed management. Now the Iraqi universities that you see on the slide here, they make the nomination. First, the ministry allocated, let's say, 200 for Basra University, 300 for Kufa University, 700 for Baghdad University, and so on. Nomination process is done by the Iraqi university. So the student will, the PhD student, the possible PhD student is going to write a proposal, and this proposal is approved by his university back in Iraq, or her university back in Iraq. And once approved, they will come to us, or any country in the world, to apply for a PhD. So when you see that the PhD, possible PhD title or project, that's what they want. But again, it's the general field and the special field is required. The students suggest a topic within the area. So if I may say computer science, that's the general field, and image processing, that's the specific field. So the student will suggest something. So think about it this way. I mean, as I said, I'll repeat this. We are on the same boat, so we need to understand the requirements. I'm a student. I'm a master holder from Iraq. I'm applying for a PhD in the UK. So we already, there's a huge gap in knowledge and whatever they propose. So we need this message to be transferred to your academics. Whatever they see on the PhD proposal, that's not final, that's not what exactly we want. But it's something within this field, but it's not so far away from this field, from this particular project. So you will see names of these universities coming, and the nomination process, you'll get a letter to whom it may concern, financial letter. This student is sponsored by us, please facilitate his offer. We'll talk about this later. In the final stage, for the financial guarantee letter, you get a ministerial letter that's signed and stamped by the ministry. So that's the final thing for the admission. So the Scottish universities attended for a conference, thank you very much. And we are just missing Robert Gordon University, they couldn't make it. So we have 9 universities today. Thank you.
As I mentioned in one of the morning sessions, we have already at the moment Iraqi students doing their PhD here. You can see the table here in Glasgow University. The total number who already registered in this university is 29, and at the moment they are 19 because 10 of them are already left the university, finished their study, graduated, and done their study and back to Iraq. Edinburgh 5-3, at the moment we have 3. Dundee at the moment we have 3. Strathclyde we have at the moment 11. Unfortunately, Edinburgh University we haven't got any, but hopefully we will see more. And the same goes for Stirling University. Heriot-Watt, we have 3 at the moment. And Aberdeen University, we haven't got any at the moment. Aberdeen, we have 10 registered, 8 still, means that 2 already finished. They're studying Glasgow, Caledonian, 3, and they are still studying at the moment. Overall, we have maybe 80-something in Scotland, but as we will see later on, the potential students in Glasgow, out of 1,140, we sent to Glasgow University the details of 645. So Helene already received 645 details of students in different disciplines, and thank you very much. They replied to us with a yes for 199. While Edinburgh record, we already sent them 1,005 and we got 614. So now those students who already got initial yes, they are working and communicating with the coordinator to finalize and getting final offer to enable them to apply for the ministerial order for financial letter and then for visa. And Dundee, 412, we got 42. Strathclyde, 372, we had 190. And St. Andrews University, 371, 22. Stirling, 45, and we got 15 years. And Heriot-Watt, we have 450, and reply for 62. Robert Gordon, 97, 29. Aberdeen and Glasgow, we just starting our cooperation, and we will send you the applications detail for the current month, maybe for November, October, September, and for those who did not get any yes so far, even from May and June, to make it available for you to see how can you help them. Iraqi candidate side, I'm going to talk about the obstacles we experienced when we started. We have no idea what is the obstacle we will face, what's the difficulties our students will experience. But a bit by bit, we started to discover and finalize things, and then later on, we tried to help our students in sorting out and getting over these obstacles. Isolation of the Iraqi higher education sector over the last decades. While Iraq was isolated from the world since 1979, 1980, so just to imagine that there was no internet up to 2003. There was no mobile phone, there was no fax machine, there's no satellite up to 2003. So imagine the technology, the technology went over the 80s and 90s, and then suddenly Iraq was completely away and comes to the map, comes to the picture again after 2003. So not only Iraq, the people of Iraq, they have no idea about the internet, how to use it, the technology, mobile phone, everything, how to write email, how to send email. So you can imagine when somebody just like they were living in a cave and suddenly come out to see the rest of the world. So we experience these difficulties when students send email. Instead of writing the subject, for example, application, he put the whole proposal on the subject box or field. He doesn't know how to write it properly, how to express his wish, how to express his application or proposal properly to convince the university. The proposal. Well, proposal is like a magic thing to convince the university and to convince the supervisor to accept that students. If the students cannot write it properly, the first impression from the supervisor, it is not for me, sorry. But if we take this view, or if we take this idea that isolation of Iraq into consideration, we might be more flexible in dealing with the proposals. To help our students in writing proposal properly, we formulate a research and put in our website many links which teach our students in Iraq how to learn to write a good proposal or concentrate on writing proposal from the academic point of view, from the language point of view. That should be, for example, there's introduction and there's main point, etc., and how to write it. So we put that like in small article and send it to them over their emails and put it on our website as well, the cultural website. English, and this is another obstacle. In Iraq, there was no IELTS, there was no TOEFL, there was only maybe ITP, which is not considered by UK universities, which is not considered by UK BA. And most of the Iraqi students got the ITP, which means they got nothing. Now, how can the students convince the university he's got a good English? Well, we already contacted many colleges here in UK. We prepared like article again to highlight the centers in Iraq which offer IELTS examination or equivalent in Erbil, in Baghdad, in different provinces, in different universities, and encourage our students to do their exam before they do anything, because the first thing the university will ask a student, how is your English? Where's the certificate? And the UK universities would not buy ITP. They would like to see a proper certificate. And again, encourage the students to go to Jordan, to Lebanon, to Kuwait to do their exam there. And luckily, many of them are managing to do it, to get it. And we are in the process of dealing with one of the organizations which gave like license or permission from the board of IELTS to open many centers in Iraq. Hopefully within 1 or 2, 3 months there will be at least 5 centers offering exam in Iraq. Again, in this part, how to get to sort out these obstacles, we, as I said, prepared an article highlighting the places where the students can go and do their exam in Iraq. And the last one, the visa. And I think everyone has no clear-cut idea about the requirement of visa, even those who are working with the Home Office, because it's really very difficult to understand. We prepared an article for the parts which related to our students. And for example, explain the student visitor visa, Tier 4 visa, other kind of visa for dependent visa, and then advise them to not to apply, for example, for a student visitor visa, because they have to leave when they fulfill the condition, and they need to extend their visa or transfer it to the academic study. They have to leave and apply again. We have such dilemma in the Attache. We did not encourage them. We do not encourage students to apply. Instead, we ask them to improve their language in Iraq and raise it to 4 to 4.5 in IELTS, and then apply for Tier 4 for the language, for the precisional course, rather than for the academic. And to come here for the precisional for 8 months, for 10 months, for a year, Tier 4 for the precisional English course, and once they fulfill the condition of the university, they can extend it while they are here. Again, we prepare like a long article explaining to our students these obstacles and how to get rid of these one by one. We already prepared like a booklet mentioning all the obstacles and how to get over it a bit by bit, and then hundreds of these copies were distributed when I visited Iraq last month or in October, where there was like a gathering or meeting with those who are nominated in Baghdad universities, about 180, and the Kufa region, where there were more than 100. We distributed this booklet to them and explained whatever inside the book, face-to-face to them, answer their concern, explain their requirement, and try to advise them, for example, regarding the visa requirement, regarding the proposal, and other related issue to enable them to get to the standard where they will be accepted by UK universities. Here, Kufa University and Baghdad University. The first one was in Baghdad, and the second one in Kufa. Now, the UK universities obstacles from the here on this side. Beautiful.
That was the obstacles and challenges we faced with the Iraqi side. And just to show you that we are on the same boat, that we're not just trying to push things from your side as well. We are going to Iraq, to our applicants in Iraq, and to try to convince them to get to improve their English level, to make their life easier and our life easier and your life easier. So for the UK university side, I will give you the feedback. This is the feedback of what we have been experiencing and our comments on how to improve the work between us, between our office and the UK universities. The first challenge is the cooperation of the university coordinator. As we mentioned earlier, we have a short list of universities we deal with in the IPSS program, and we chose these universities according to a specific criteria. And if you remember, if you attended our first conference, we explained the criteria. It's about the complete university guide, and the universities must have at least 4 disciplines, and these disciplines should be outside London. Now, we understand very well, and please, I mean it. When I tell you, we understand very well the regulations of the UK universities. We are not in a position and will never try to convince you to do something against your regulations. I will never be able to do it anyway. If you ask me, there's no point in asking me. Because you have regulations and we respect it. And we stand here today and we respect that we are standing in front of hundreds of years of experience in the higher education sector. You are very important to us. And we respect all the regulations you have. But at the same time, we are under pressure of our ministry. And we are under pressure of the whole country, for the whole generation, who are in Iraq, who are calling us every day, emailing us every day, and they want to come here to study, to get this chance, to get the most out of this chance. So the cooperation of the coordinator is very important. What we mean by coordination here is, for instance, the dedicated email for the coordinator. If you remember the first maybe months of the IPSS scheme, we've been sending regularly emails for the coming with the separate sheets, giving you some feedback what we require. As I mentioned earlier, we noticed sometimes the coordinator when they started to get dozens of emails, they try to put like an auto-reply message, please go and apply online. And we have to spot this and inform the university, please, if you're not interested to work with us, let us know. There's no need to send you applications and waste your time. So the dedicated email, that's one of the issues. One of the issues also, we remember, and I'm sure you remember, is the circulating the sheets to the academics. Again, we know you are under pressure, you cannot push much to ask the academics to give you a response faster. We try to put deadline for getting the response in order to send you more sheets, more applicants. But this led to some universities to try to get a realistic scenario for how to circulate these sheets, how to get realistic initial offers from the academics. We noticed also some university, the international office, they were putting this and no based on their understanding and awareness of which fields of study are of the interest of the university. We noticed this and we tried to push to make sure, please do circulate it to your academics. But then we understood this can't work much. If it's impossible to get the sheets circulated to the academics, to get the professor to put yes or no on the students, then we stopped pushing further on this. Some universities, thankfully, they continued circulating the sheets, but some of them they couldn't. It's too much time consuming for them to do it. So we understand this, we couldn't push further, but we tried to show you our ultimate scenario, the standard scenario we prefer, that we believe this will work from our understanding for the program, and you have your understanding and your awareness of the regulations of the university. So the more you work closer to us, the more we can solve together any problem we both face. Because for the 10th time I'm mentioning we are on the same boat here. We're not. I'm sure you're working. Some of you just came from another conference or other countries you are visiting, and you are working with the whole world. And attending today's conference in the Glasgow University for the Iraqi Cultural Office, maybe it's not a big deal for you, but it's really important for us as a country, as people who are caring about our country. We need to work with you, and we are ready to open all the doors for collaboration. And as I was talking to him this morning, I think, oh, Jane, it's like the saying, which one is first, the egg or the chicken? We want to collaborate with you. We want to get projects from you, and you want to hear from us, and you want to know what we want. So the international office and the cultural attaché exactly on the same situation now. It's up to meeting the expectation of the universities and our country. So collaboration, the more, my point here, the more you work closer to us with our office, with our staff, the more we will know what you don't like. The more you are honest with us. Anything we suggest that you can't work, just don't turn away from us. Just tell us this doesn't work with our university. Thank you very much. And we'll be grateful if you can suggest an alternative solution, as we agree on the intention of working together. The second issue we noticed as well is the initialness and the confusion with the final offer. In the beginning of the program, some universities, they thought when they say yes in the Excel sheet you get for the applicants, they expected this is a legal obligation when you say yes to a student to come to apply. Some universities, they expected this yes means the students are not requested to go through the online application system, the standard for the university to apply for international students. So there were a lot of confusion about this point, and we tried to clarify it with the universities who contacted us directly, or through our letters we circulate to our coordinators in the IPSS scheme. And the answer is, this initial yes you will get is just this way. The student who wants to apply for chemical engineering in the UK, there are 70 universities in the UK. We give the student only 5 or 6, or maybe 2, or maybe 1 university. Instead of searching the whole universities and making application form for 70 universities, we make it easier for the student of 3, 4, 5 choices. And by the way, this procedure has been the case for instance, the British Council, the Chevening program. And I myself was one of the applicants for the Chevening program. I got the 5.5 merits, and the British Council, Chevening secretary now, they gave me 3 options, 3 universities. And I chose this university to apply to. I could apply for 2, but the final decision I could make. So I do almost the same thing here. This will lead us to a problem, to an issue, the confidentiality. Now, if you remember the table for the applications we sent to all of you, I'm sure some of you had a question. The total number of applications sent to all universities is not 1,100, it's more, right? So this means we sent same applications to 3 or 4 universities in certain fields, based on the initial yes you gave us. Now, back to the confidentiality issue. When we request from the universities, please tell us who, those who are giving, the students who are giving final offer, please let us know their names so we can make sure they are not applying somewhere else, or they are not making a final offer somewhere else. Now we get a response. I remember that 2 months ago, I think we sent this letter to all universities. Please give us the names of the students whom you gave final offer. And the majority of universities did not respond to this request. And those who responded, they said, we are sorry, there's a confidentiality issue of giving you the names of the applicants. Now, the 1100 applications coming to the UK, we have all their details, full details, emails, personal details and everything. And so when we give you the names, we expect you to tell us those whom you gave the English language recessional course. We understand some universities you have only English courses for entry level of 5.5 or 5 or 6. And you are not interested to receive applicants with the entry level of 4. Think about it this way. What we did, we advise universities, please try to consider, if you have, let's say, 40 applicants coming to your university, please try to consider opening a pre-sessional English course for 1 year with entry level of 4 or 4.5, because otherwise they will go somewhere else to get their English. Now, we are all in the same game here. It's international marketing, and if a student is got an offer from, let's say, Dundee University to study PhD, but Dundee doesn't have English course, so he will go to Glasgow University and will apply for English there, and he will see the beautiful university here on campus, and then he possibly will turn and change his academic place to Glasgow University. So it's up to you. We can't force you at all. Although we really strongly recommend for our applicants to apply for English course in the universities they got the offer from, but if they don't find the offer, they don't find the suitable English course, they will go to do English somewhere else, and it's a marketing risk for losing this potential student. And finally, the tuition fees and bench fees. What we recommend, what the ministry is asking us, and please, I hope that we make this point clear here, the final offer you make for our applicants, please make it in one figure. This one figure means it's the tuition fees plus the bench fees in one figure. And we'll talk later maybe about the LOU and what we expect in it. But I just want to make it clear here, we want to see the tuition fees and bench fees in one figure. Is there a maximum limit for the tuition fees and bench fees in one figure? It depends on the discipline, on the field. We're not hiding this number from you because we don't want to.
We would like to work on a project, and then by project we can form at the end maybe LOU, letter of understanding, or memorandum of understanding. MOU as a paper worth nothing, but we would like to work, as Helen said, we start from ground up. We work on a project, a particular project. We did not mention that MOU in May or June or July, but we are mentioning it now after 7 months working together on a particular project, which is IPSS. Well, why LOU, not MOU? Because MOU need to be approved by the Minister and Prime Minister office. So it is not under our office authority. We cannot work together unless it's been approved by Baghdad. While LOU can be worked here, can be implemented here, because it's under our authority in the office. And there were different approach of having LOU with universities. There was which you did receive maybe two weeks ago, is like a general LOU, then talk about a particular 2 projects, one for the IPSS and one for other project. As I said, we are working on individual projects, not a paper or certificate. After out of discussion with different universities and get reply and advices from the university's feedback, we decided to just changed the approach slightly, where we combine the original LOU with the IPSS project itself and invite universities to sign it with us on this particular project. And if we will work on a next project, for example, for research visit for 3 months, 6 months, then we will prepare another LOU related to this particular project. We have another project which is staff training for a month. Again, when we go ahead and work together on this particular project, we will prepare LOU related to this particular project. So to make it more focused on the project focus rather than general. So we prepare this combined LOU, which is different from the one which you receive. You are going to receive it now, and you can go through it, discuss it, and see how far we can go to the stage of signing it as soon as possible. That you are. We ask to sign just before Christmas, or to have it here at in this meeting for a good reason. And when we combine them together and put it together and ask you to read it, to examine it, and if we can have your reply later on as soon as possible. Why? Because the minister, our minister, will be in UK by January. The annual meeting with the British Council every January. So we would like him to have your reply, and maybe himself will sign it. It is not compulsory for you to agree on every single details. It's open for you to make any amendment and then send it back to us.
For many of the sector will present us with difficulties. Contractually, we would require it to be in pound sterling, and if we were operating through a London-based office, they would anticipate that we should be able to do things in pound sterling. As a show of hands, is that something that we would all perhaps need? We would.
Yeah.
So we're.
Well, I mean, the same with the current students, those who already joined your university since 2007. Until now, we calculate their entitlement by dollar, because the figures mentioned or determined by the Iraqi ministry, and they are knowing either dinar. If you are not happy with the dollar, we can deal with you with the dinar. Iraqi dinar, that will make your life more difficult. What the 10,000 used to be 1,000, what it might be maybe 5% off and plus minus. At the end, this is the only currency which is recognized by Iraq, either Iraqi dinar or US dollar. Sorry for not being able to convince the Iraqi ministry using sterling in this case.
Would it be a deal breaker not to put any upper tuition fee in an agreement, but to leave that as tuition fees have been set, for English language, and it's for institutions to decide how to proceed with that?
Well,
it might be easier just to take the reference out to what's feeling in the room.
This maybe sums up many of the issues that we all have here, is that there are, I think, in terms of the overall thinking of the scheme, everybody here would be very much in favour for all of that. But I think there are always going to be instances where different universities are going to be looking for different things or different wording. Perhaps some universities might be happy with dollars, or perhaps they would be happy if there was an exchange rate that was given between 2 points, or even the dollars figure removed completely. So I think these are the conversations that will have to happen and carry on individually.
Exactly.
With
That's
each
why we
university
left it
here.
up to the 4th of January, well, you can contact the Torah Saab, you know his telephone number and his email, then feel free to contact him anytime, 24 hours. And I mean it because he always even stayed in the living sometimes in the Attache itself.
Come always speak in the Attache.
So talk to him, and we can reach a kind of agreement, because this is what we are doing now. We are giving the students up to 10,000, even but you are not forced to mention that in your offer. In your offer, mention sterling. This is what the currency here, but it shouldn't be exceed the figure mentioned by the ministry.
Yeah, if I just follow up with what Mr. Ahmed mentioned in the end, this will give you the $12,000 will give you an indication how much the government scholarship will cover. But when you issue your final offer for the student, and the ministry will accept it or will reject it based on their calculations of how much the $12,000 will be equivalent to. So, and even if the student will have to cover what is remaining from 12,000, then this will be mentioned in the ministerial letter as well.
For example, if you mention, for example, £8,000, it will equal to 12,300. So the ministry will pay 12,000, and it should be the other three should be sorted out by the students and with the university. At the moment, the limit is 10,000. So the student has to pay from his pocket for any money exceed 10,000. And that's what we are receiving at the moment from the ministry. We would like to help our students to encourage, actually through my visit last month, I pushed personally to raise the money, raise the figure from 10 to 12, and I managed. So, because I want things to be done and be a real success for both of us.
Yeah. So if I just mention last thing about tuition fees and bench fees, we expect it's going to be in one figure, and we expect a discount for the final. One of the questions we hear from universities, but there's no discount for the bench fees because this is the price for buying equipment for the research. And we understand this, but in your calculations, you will know that the discount will go for the tuition fees, not for the bench fees. And some other issue also we hear from universities mentioning the inflation every year is increasing, and we cannot fix the fees for over 3 years. Because you will see in the letter also we mentioned we need the fees to be fixed, the one figure to be fixed for 3 years as the first year of entry. And some universities said, but what about the inflation? And what we in our office we discussed, and then we can tell you it's you can calculate the possible inflation in your calculations, and you tell us the average that you expect, and that you cannot proceed for this student without putting this number. And it's like if you're adding the 3 numbers together and divide by 3 and give us one figure only. This will really help.
Why? Because the government allocated certain amount for each student. For example, for this particular student, they allocated 100,000 for 3 years. So if you exceed it to 110 because of the inflation, then that will make things possible to be done because there is no money. While when you say, for example, 15 a year, so 3 years, 45,000 pounds, then the government from the beginning knows that this particular student will cost 45,000. So just put it aside and deal with the second one. Other than every year put 5%, and some universities unfortunately put 10-15%, which is, not fair for the student and for us. We already dealt with them, and they were happy to reduce it. One of the universities raised it from universities raised it to 17% because of the inflation. Well, inflation is 3, 4, 5%. When we contacted them, they were happy to reduce it to the 5%. But to avoid this particular points, we just fix it for 3 years, and that's it. And the figure is, you decided the figure. You calculate it in a way which suits you, and at the same time suits the ministry in Baghdad.
The conversation we've just been having about the fee setting and how that will be represented, dollars, pounds, I have a question regarding the packaging of the fees. I understand that you wanted to include the entire programme, including English language. There may be some difficulties, certainly with my own institution, I don't know about other institutions here, in terms of being able to make an offer early enough that would show the appropriate level of English required. So, if a student comes and they have not yet taken IELTS, for example, we wouldn't know at that stage whether we can offer an English language programme at the university. And if that's the case, we then wouldn't be in a position to offer the full package.
Well, you can write subject to availability.
I'm sorry, something again?
You can write on this particular subject to availability.
Okay.
So if it is not available at the moment in your university, then you can mention that whenever it is available.
And if we're in a position, for example, where we have a student for whom we're not able to provide the English language course that they would require, how would that then work for the ministry in terms of assessing the amount payable for a student?
Well, he can go to another university, to another college to study, and then the academic will come to you.
Okay. So in that case, it is acceptable for us to make an offer purely on the basis of the academic programme, and not English language at that time?
Yes. So it is, as I said, it's not compulsory to go together as a package, but if it is available, then we would like to see it. If it is not available at the moment, maybe you will think about it in the future to form it or to find it, okay? But it shouldn't, it's not a one package. The academic part and the language part.
Let me just add one thing. In some universities, what they're doing, they have like a contract with a local English center in the city, or they can send safely their applicants to the center and make sure they get back to us.
Sooner or later, any Iraqi student sent by Iraq would come to us. So there is no issue of confidentiality. You yourself will not accept the students unless you get a guarantee letter, a financial guarantee letter from our office. This is the work, this is the way. You work with us over the last 4 years, and it will be the same for the coming years. So I think there is no issue of confidentiality. Just tell us who got the final, then we can let other universities to start communicating with them. This is one. And phone the applicant, finish your work with this particular university, because you are preventing others from being accepted by this university. It's just to speed up. This is our intention, to speed up the application and the applicant's process to come here as soon as possible.
If I may make a suggestion, I don't know the outcome of the offer with your office.
And it's also mentioned on the financial guarantee letter that the details about the student's progress are to be communicated to the cultural attaché. So maybe there's another line in the letter
it says on the financial letter, all entitlement of the students will be paid by the cultural attaché. What does this mean? All the financial support, the salary and the fees will be paid by the cultural attaché in London. So that means that we will be responsible for the students. In addition, that financial letter will go to all students who apply to UK and to other countries. So we cannot unify that kind of letter. And we are not in power of the ministry itself. It's up to them to finalize the work they want.
Protection law, we can't share the student's information with a third party unless the student says that's okay. So at the point of application, if the student signs something to say, yes, we can share it with the ICA, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, that's for your side. I mean, we have no problem to share the information with you because you already applied to us on this deal. But I think it's, your suggestion, Helen, is is to make the student sign something. That's when they apply
Whether
to
they
your
sign
university.
something or whether as part of the application they make it clear, and it could very well be within a personal statement that they wish the outcome to be
No
shared with your
problem. We
office.
can find a letter or a note to them, send it on to their emails, telling them that when they apply, they can provide you with a letter telling you that I authorize you to be open with the ICA. No problem.
And in this case, if we give you their names, and someone else is coming applying online who applied in Strathclyde University, but we did not give you your name, and you didn't give us his details because he is not on our list.
But if they
Then-
said in the application package that we can share the information,
Yes.
we would have
I
no
think this is a good
difficulty sharing it,
suggestion.
even
you
if
can-
it didn't come through your office.
Yeah, that's a very good
So-
suggestion. Really.
And we will put it on our website, advising all students who apply to UK universities to provide the university with such authorization. Then you will have within your regulation to be open with us and work together to push him to work to come to the first one he received the final offer from.
I mean, there's also perhaps an education issue with, if you have concerns about students accepting more than one offer, if they have a CAS from one institution to get their visa, they can't then choose to go to
We
another
already
university.
told
So
them.
it's in the student's best interest to understand that very early before they make their decision.
Yeah.
That they
We already part of this leaflet about this knowledge that you cannot apply for visa for two students, for two universities, just because you use one only. And it's not fair for the universities when you have 5 classes, so you prevented others from getting content of that. So we already explained that to them over the net, through the booklet, and through face-to-face conference in Iraq.
So are we all happy with this suggestion? Yeah. We'll do this as soon as possible with our students.
I wonder if, I'm sorry.
How will colleagues feel in terms of feeding back to our institutions to have a show of hands around in principle that we are seriously interested in signing the letter of understanding, obviously subject to individual amendments for our own institutions?
Sure.
Would it be helpful to have a show of hands? How many institutions feel they are in a position to sign subject to individual changes? I'm delighted to say that's 100% of everyone here. On the basis of that, can I take the liberty of requesting, if the Minister for Higher Education is visiting the United Kingdom in January, would he consider a visit to Scotland that could be hosted by any of the Scottish universities? We'd be delighted
Well,
for him to visit our country.
yeah, we will, put that invitation to him, and it's up to the commitments he has in London or somewhere else. We are happy for UK universities to be visited by the Minister, because that will convince him, realize that how UK universities are good, then more students will be sent here. Even now, about 70% of the phase 1 students are here in UK. So that's why, we presented with the LOU, especially for this particular project, and once we succeed with this project, maybe we will move to the second project regarding the academic staff, and we will prepare a special LOU especially for this particular project. Well, if we succeed in this one, that will encourage us to do more and more work and business with you.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that Scottish institutions work very closely together. As you can see today, we have been able to field the vast majority of Scottish universities to be represented at today's meeting at very short notice,
Yeah.
and that certainly gives an interest or interest in working very closely with you. But if we were to be in a position that we would be looking to sign, if perhaps I can give you an indication, a number of us, I'm quite sure, would be happy to have a venue that other Scottish universities could meet the Minister for Higher Education Act.
Well, yes, if the time permit, then okay, but it shouldn't be as a condition. He has to come, he has to sign.
No, I wouldn't suggest that, but I think I'm trying to suggest that as a Scottish institutions, we do work very collaboratively together, and we are able to field this type of thing perhaps more easily than some of our colleagues south of the border.
Yeah. Well, two issues there. We will send this LOU with other universities in UK as well. So it is not only for Scottish universities, we will send it to other universities and we'll be in contact over the phone. Maybe if the time permits, go to some universities just as we are here, try to encourage as much university as possible to sign it, to make like as a group of like Attache friend, something like that, or Attache, what they call it, the group or something like that.
IPSS Premier.
Okay, then you will be the first choice for any new project. You will be the first university to be contacted for any new project. This is one issue. So we will contact other universities as well. Out of these 61 universities which we already talked to over the last 7-8 months. First.
Can we ask something quite unrelated? You were talking about directing the students to the universities that offered specialisations in their area. Does that mean that your students do not use agents? Do they apply directly to the university, or do some of them use agents?
No, we do not encourage them to use an agent. But if they want to use it, it's up to them. But we do not encourage them, and we do not stop them of contacting you directly. So we would like them to come to the best universities through us or through themselves directly. Agents might take them to a secondary class universities, and we do not want that because they are looking after money other than the academic level. So we do not invite them, we do not encourage them. On the contrary, we ask them to come to us, and we will facilitate their application as we are doing now.
You don't prohibit them. I'm asking because I know that for our university that would affect the level of discount that we could offer you, whether we were having to pay an agent in addition, and I suspect it would be the same for the other universities. Therefore, if they were prohibited, for example, we might be able to offer a better discount, but if at the moment it's up to each student, we wouldn't be able to do that.
We are not taking commission, we are taking discount.
Yes, you don't want to pay for the commission for the agent and discount for our students.
Exactly.
Yeah. We obviously strongly recommend to you take students from us or those who apply directly through your website, but not through agents.
And special thanks for Ellen and for Glasgow University, and looking forward more cooperation, and maybe in a few months' time we'll come with a bunch of students coming here, welcome.